Hello everyone, Catweazle here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to our new playthrough, which is Elder Sign with the Unseen Forces expansion. I do have Gates of Arkham, which is another expansion, but what happens with that is if you put Gates of Arkham in, then you don't get to see the inside of the museum. And let's have a look in the museum, because Elder Sign and Unseen Forces are actually set in Arkham Museum. Something nasty is going on, and we're in the museum and we are trying to prevent it. Usual story in Arkham, there's some horrendous beast from beyond space and it's trying to get through to our dimension and create havoc and absolute destruction. So we need the usual suspects to come and rescue the world as normal. So let's go through some of the components and whatnot. So first of all, when we pick our investigators, they will start on the museum entrance. Now in the original base game, that was just a souvenir shop. It was a single card, and that was where everybody started. But for Unseen Forces, they changed that. I think the main reason why they changed it is, one, they wanted to give a bit more variety. So there are now 4 cards at the entrance. And they also wanted to stop people using trophies to buy Elder Signs, because it was a little bit easy. So let's have a look at a few of these entrance cards. First of all is the souvenir shop, and this is the main one. This is where everybody starts, and after completing any adventure they will go back to the souvenir shop most of the time. Not all the time, but quite most of the time they will. So here we are, the souvenir shop. So when you're at the souvenir shop, you can choose to buy up to 2 items and you'll be using trophies. So if you complete adventures, you'll get trophies. Defeat monsters, you'll get trophies, and you can spend them here. So 1 trophy will get you a clue token, 2 trophies will get you a common item, 3 trophies a unique item, 4 trophies a spell, and 5 trophies an ally. As I say, originally this was just 1 card, and for 10 trophies you could actually buy an Elder Sign, but they stopped you doing that. So trinkets were placed onto the shelves with no apparent organisation. That sounds like a souvenir shop to me. So there's a souvenir shop. There is also the Lost and Found, which is a cardboard box by the look of it. And if you choose to use this, you can roll up to 3 green dice and consult the following chart for each die result. So if you get an investigation, which is the magnifying glass, you lose either 1 sanity or 1 stamina, which is nice. Or if you roll a law, you can gain 1 clue token. You gain a common item if you roll a peril, and if you roll a terror, you gain 1 spell. What hid within the mouldy box of unclaimed ephemera. So there you go. So you can have a go at the Lost and Found. Just outside the entrance of the museum is the chapel. And this is basically where you can go to get your sanity and stamina back. So spend 8 trophies to choose 1 investigator to become blessed. Oh yes, you can also, in Unseen Forces, you can bless investigators. If that investigator is already blessed, he instead gains his choice of one of the following: 1 clue token, 1 unique item, 1 common item, or 1 spell. Next door to the museum was the chapel, a source of comfort in Arkham for more than a century. Yep, there you go. So I was getting mixed up with the first aid station. This is where you can recover sanity and stamina. So you can choose 1 treatment from the list below, heal either 1 sanity or 1 stamina for free, pay 2 trophies to fully regain either sanity or stamina, or pay 4 to fully regain both sanity and stamina. The museum seems suspiciously prepared to treat traumatic injuries. It certainly does. So those are all up here. As I say, when we pick our investigators, they will start on the souvenir shop. But during the course of the game, they can move to these places in order to take advantage of the bonuses that are there if they have the wherewithal to pay for them. Cool. Right, so after that, we have the dice. So first of all, we've got 2 new dice for Unseen Forces. There's a white one and a black one. The white one's the blessed dice, the black one is the cursed dice. Now both these dice, as regards the symbols that are on them, are exactly the same as the green dice, which are the main dice. So there's not extra terrors on them or anything like that. They are exactly the same apart from the colour. And the way that they work is, if you're blessed, you essentially get another green dice to roll. So you've got a chance of more investigations, more law, more peril and more terror. So it's essentially giving you an extra die in which you can roll. The cursed dice is slightly different. What happens with this is when you roll it in conjunction with the other dice, if any of the other dice have exactly the same symbol as what comes up on this dice, then both these dice will be removed. So essentially it will remove one of your dice when you roll it, but you do have to match the symbols exactly. You'll remove this every time. So say this is on a terror and there's no other terrors on the other dice, then you will still remove this dice. Yeah, but if anything matches it, you will remove one of them. So using terror as an example again, if 2 of your green dice have a terror on it, you will remove the black dice and 1 of those green dice. You don't remove both of them, you just remove 1. And that's what it is to be cursed. So that's the blessed and cursed dice. The green dice, these are the ones that you'll be rolling most of the time. So they've got various symbols on. So we've got a scroll there, that is law. We've got a tentacled horror, which is terror. And we also have a skull, which is peril. The magnifying glass is investigations, so it'll have a number on with it, so this is 3 investigations. And the remaining 2 sides are also investigations, but 1 investigation and 2 investigation. So that is the green dice, and those are the ones which we will be rolling most of the time. There are 2 other special dice that come with the base game. There's a yellow die and there is a red die. Now these are pretty much the same, they've got the same sort of stuff on, but some slight differences. These come with items and stuff like that, or cards or spells or whatever may give you the opportunity to use these. The yellow die, it generally has more investigations on. So as you can see, there was one there with 4 on. Only this and the red die will allow you to roll 4 investigations, for example. So quite a powerful die, very helpful. And the best die in the game is this red one. Again, you can get 4 investigations on this. I think it's there somewhere. There we go. But we also have this little investigator symbol, and that is a wild card. You roll that, that can match any symbol in the game, so that's very powerful. So those are the dice that you can roll. We'll see during gameplay how those work. Right, so in addition to those, we have the Ancient One cards. And here they are. So one thing I really like about Elder Sign, which, well, I won't say surprised me, I just didn't think about it, but I do prefer the artwork on the back of the cards for Elder Sign on everything. They are extremely nice. So these are all the usual. We've seen these sort of guys before, like Shub and Azathoth and Haster, Tsagoth, what is it, Sathogua, nice, Yog-Sothoth, Glarky, Nyarlathotep, all these guys. We've met these guys before, so there's quite a few of them. And as usual, the more expansions you get, you'll get extra Ancient One cards. So we'll put them down there. We also have our Investigators. And these are our Investigator cards. So for the first two expansions, you know, we've got the usual like Bob, Sister Mary, Gloria, all this sort of stuff. They have the usual sanity and the health. They also have a special ability that they can use during the game, and starting items, and the usual, you know, bit of artwork, and who they are, and what they are. So, there we go, we've got a fair few of those, because we've got two expansions in play, so we'll pick those later. Right, after that, we have adventure cards, and that's this big stack here. So, these are a selection of rooms and events and people that are in the museum that we've got to deal with. As you can see, there are plenty of them. Loads and loads of them that we can pick from, and we'll shuffle these and we will lay them out on our playing area when we start the game. So, again, usual FFG, beautifully done, very well set out, and what we have here, that is the amount of trophies. If you complete this adventure, that's the amount of you'll get to keep this as a trophy, and that's how much it's worth. So this is 2. We have a bit of artwork at the top, a title, and then some little flavour text. For example, on rite of passage here, we've got many of us never discover who we are until reforged by the crucible of adversity. And these are the tasks. So when we roll the dice, we are looking for these symbols. So peril symbol, and so if we got a peril symbol when we rolled the dice, we could spend one of our sanities and we would complete that task. And you can complete one task at a time. So you keep rolling dice. If you complete one of these tasks, then with your remaining dice, you move on to the next one. And in this particular case, there's an arrow. And what that means is, you have to do them in this order. There are other cards that don't have an arrow. For example, this one doesn't. You can do those in any order. But this one, it's got an arrow on it, so you've got to complete that first, that second, that third. As soon as you do that with your dice, then you get down to the bottom here. If you succeed, these are the things that you will receive. You'll receive a common item, a spell, you get a clue token, and you will gain an elder sign. However, if you fail, that's what the red bit is. You'll move doom on by 1, which is that symbol, and as you see 2 heart symbols, you will lose 2 stamina. So that's basically how these work. So you'll fulfill these tasks. If you fulfill them, then you'll get the reward. If you fail, then you will pay the penalty. So that's how they work. There are some other slight things that you get on them. For example, see this white here? That is a space for a monster. So if you ever have to draw a monster, you'll put the monster on that space there. And that is a little monster symbol there. It's not very clear, but it's like a little elder thing. So you put the monster on there. So then you defeat the monster as well as do the task. But like I say, this doesn't have to be done in order. You can do it in any order. But if there's a monster on there, you have to complete this task and complete against the monster and kill it. And defeat it. Same thing, succeed. You get these. If you fail, then you pay the penalties here. There is also on this an entry. And what this means, this is sort of something else you've got to do as soon as you get onto the roof, because this is up on the roof. Then if there is no monster on this adventure, you place one monster in the task below. So you have to do that as soon as you put your investigator token on that card. You have to fulfill that entry condition. I think there are a few other sort of conditions like that. For example, here on the curator, at midnight each investigator must spend 2 trophies or lose 1 sanity and 1 stamina. Therefore, if you can get rid of this card before midnight, that'd be excellent. And I think there are others. There's another one, Koi Pond. Terror, you immediately fail this adventure. So if you do not manage, you know, if you roll terrors and do not manage to do this adventure card, then you will fail it and you will take the penalty. So there are various things like that that are on, but we'll see those during gameplay. Additionally, what I've done is, one of the complaints about this game is it's extremely easy. Whether that's the usual Arkham horror crowd, where extremely easy is if you win like twice out of 10. Easy, or whether it's actually really is quite easy. It seems to be really is quite easy. Perhaps you're winning most of the time. So in order to make it a bit more difficult, I've gone online, and one of the things it suggests doing is to get rid of a few adventure cards. So there's about 8 or 9 here that I've took out. Not having played the game, I don't know whether these actually do make it harder or not. I just went on BGG and had a look, and a guy mentioned like taking a few of these out. The main reason for that is it's a bit easy to get elder signs off these. I think that's his thinking behind it. These cards are what you consider like, for what you have to achieve, it's quite easy to get an elder sign. So if we take these out, then it should make it a bit more difficult. As you can see, like walled up here, you can get 2 elder signs off this. So, and for what you have to get to do it, you know, perhaps it's a little easy. As I say, I haven't played the game, so I don't know. But quite a few in here have been taken out because you either get a lot of elder signs, or you get a lot of stuff for actually completing it. So we've took those out to make it a little bit more difficult. I'll put a link in to where I got that from down below. So what else have we got in the game? Otherworld adventure cards. Got these, and very much like Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror, it's just another place you can go. All the usual suspects like the Abyss and Relay and Yuggoth and all the rest of it, they're all in here. And again, during the game, you might get asked to put one of these out, and it's another place where you can go, you can try and complete the tasks and get rewards or penalties. So it's just like extra rooms, except you're going off world to complete them. So nice little thematic touch. So that's the Otherworld cards. Then we get our usual small cards. Again, very similar to Arkham and Eldritch. So we've got allies here, and they all give you special bonuses. Very different from Arkham and Eldritch bonuses, but they fit in quite nicely with the game because it is a bit of a dice chucker. So a lot of them relate to dice re-rolls and stuff like that, or being able to put a dice on here, or perhaps, you know, sanity tokens and stamina tokens, that sort of stuff. So those are our allies. We have unique items. See, well, I really do like the backs on the cards here. They're really nice. So these are the unique items, usual stuff, your Holy Water, Dragon's Eye and stuff. But as you can see, because it's a bit of a dice chucker, a lot of these, like Nameless Cults, will allow you to add the red die when you do a task. So a lot of them involve giving you an extra dice. But there are others, like here's the Cabala of Saboth. Before rolling, discard to return up to 2 discarded dice into your dice pool. So it's all based around chucking dice. So those are your unique items. Common items. So very similar, you know, research materials, shotguns, that sort of stuff. And again, you're adding dice, mostly the yellow dice on these, and you'll get things like research materials. So after rolling, you can discard to change 1 die to its highest investigation result. Yeah, research materials, you're getting information. So you could say put it up to 3. Put it up to 3 magnifying glasses. So very useful. Shotgun, discard after rolling to change 1 die to a peril result. So that's the sort of stuff that you see on there. Again, very dice chucking orientated. And we have our spells. All the usual spells, though. Revelation of Script, I don't remember that in Eldritch or Arkham, so you might have a few new ones. But Old Faithfuls like Wither are there, and Flesh Ward. A lot of these just allow you to put a die onto here, so you can save a die, so for later tasks, that sort of stuff. But a few, for example bind monster, you can discard to defeat a monster. So they're not all about keeping dice, you know, on the card. Some of them do have other things that they do. So those are all the spells. And with Unseen Forces, you can either be blessed, so you get the white die, or you can be cursed, where you get the black die. So those are the small cards. And let's not forget the good old Mythos deck. So this is the Mythos deck. Every time we get to midnight, we'll get rid of the old Mythos card and draw a new one. And they normally have two parts. So stars align here. Add one Doom token to the Doom track. Ah! And then you get, for a Dark Fate, lock the red die for today. So that red dice, which is very powerful, would end up being plonked on there, and we couldn't use it until the next midnight when we got rid of this card. So as usual for Mythos cards, there's some nasty ones in here. With Unseen Forces, you also get even nastier ones. So you tell those because they're red. So time is right, 2 Doom tokens to the Doom track. Ah! And then for sorcery, the next time the clock strikes midnight, each investigator without a spell gains 1 spell. So, you know, sometimes you get bad and then you'll get something good. But there are ones in here whereby you just get 2 bad. And there are either or ones as well. These come with Unseen Forces. So you either have to pick death or taxes, and it's up to you to decide which one that you put in force. So death would be 1 investigator of the player's choice is devoured, which is nice. Or taxes, each investigator discards all common items and unique items. So that's a particularly nasty card. So you get those in the Mythos deck. Additionally, as I mentioned before, we've took some of the easier Elder Sign draws out of the adventure cards. That same place, it mentioned taking a few of these easier Mythos cards out. It seems to be the ones that have no lingering effects take place today. Takes a couple of those out. And these are the ones which give you a bit of a respite, I think. So we've took a few of those out. For example, when the clock next strikes midnight, each investigator gains a clue token. Can't be having that. Much too easy. So again, there's about 7 or 8 that have been taken out just to make it a bit more difficult. Again, I don't know how much more difficult it makes it. I haven't played the game before, but we'll find out. So those are taken out, but all the harder Mythos cards that come with Unseen Forces, they will all be in here, and we'll shuffle those in shortly. Okay, are there any... Oh yes, there are a couple of more things that are going to make it a bit more difficult. What we're going to have is permadeath. So I am going to pick 4 investigators, but what would normally happen, if one gets devoured, they would be replaced. But I'm not going to do that. If they get devoured, that's it. We're down to 3 investigators. If somebody gets devoured again, we're down to 2, and so on. We're down to 0 investigators. It's all over, man. So we're going to play that. In addition to that, what normally happens is when you gain Elder Signs, here's an Elder Sign. If you gain those, what normally happens, it normally goes into a communal pool. And then if an investigator gets devoured, that communal pool isn't touched. They will lose any spells or any common items or unique items that they've got with them at the time, but the Elder Signs that they've found aren't affected, except what we're going to do is we're going to make it a bit more difficult, and we are going to discard any Elder Signs off investigators that get devoured. So remember, we'll try to get to a target number. Say it's 10 Elder Signs. Say somebody who gets devoured has got 2 of them. We will lose those 2 Elder Signs. They will be gone. In the normal base game and normal Unseen Forces, they wouldn't be taken away. But we're going to play it that we do take them away. And an additional one at the end is normally what happens as soon as you get the requisite number of elder signs, that's it, the game's over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it that we've got to get onto the Ancient One card. So instead of moving back to a souvenir shop, an investigator with, say we have to get 10. Say we have to get 10, and we've got 2 who've got 3 each, and 2 others that have got 2 each. They've all got to move on to the Ancient One's card. So instead of moving back to the souvenir shop, they move to the Ancient One's card. When they move to the Ancient One's card, they cannot solve any more adventure cards that sort of stuck there. The idea is that the rest of the people who are in the museum haven't quite understood or got to the bottom of things yet, and they will join them. It just makes it that little bit more difficult at the end. Everybody's got to finish whatever adventure they're in and get to the Ancient One card. So there is a chance that somebody will get devoured on the last turn. What would normally happen is as soon as you get 10 elder signs in our example, then that'd be the end of the game. So even if there was 3 other investigators to go, that'd be it, game over. But playing it this way means everybody has to finish their turn and get onto the Ancient One card. So it just makes it that tiny bit more difficult. So we'll see how that pans out. Right, what else is there to go through? Oh yes, we have the clock. Not a lot of love for the clock, I've noticed. Seems okay to me, but it's basically a timer. When everybody has a go, you move the clock round. Yeah, so to 3 o'clock, to 6 o'clock, to 9 o'clock, and then back up to 12 o'clock midnight. The main purpose of it is once you get back to 12 o'clock, obviously what happens then is you draw another mythos card, so more nastiness occurs. The more players you've got, the more this will spin round, because every player has a turn, we put it round. So it's a way of scaling the game, basically. The more players you've got, the more mythos cards you're going to get, and the more nastiness is going to occur. The less players you've got, it'll be a bit slower. But it does help you, we know whose turn it is and that sort of stuff by using the clock. The main complaint against it is everybody forgets to use the clock, so I'll try not to do that. So that's the clock. And we've got all our chits and everything in here. So these are the diddy little doom tokens, and obviously you place them on here. I'll just explain. Let's use Cthulhu for the example. Obviously this is Cthulhu, that's his nasty name, and Dreams of Madness. So if you get Cthulhu, investigators have their maximum sanity and stamina reduced by 1. The number in the middle here, that's the number of elder signs you need to defeat him, so 13 in this case. This is his doom track here, and obviously you place these on here on his doom track as you go along. These spaces that have the little elder thing motif on them, as soon as you place a doom token on there, a monster will be picked out of the monster bag. So that's what those mean. If he wakes up, then you've got a battle on your hand. You fill up the doom track as normal, and you've got to get rid of all the doom tokens to defeat him. In order to put a hurting on him, you have to roll this. So you'll have to roll a terror, a law, and a peril. And every time you do that, an investigator does that, we take a doom token off. Each time we get to midnight, because we still do the turns while we're doing the Ancient One battle, he will attack. And he will reduce maximum sanity and stamina. Yeah. And he'll put a doom token back on. So usual drill really. If you get into an Ancient One battle, it's pretty much game over. So the good idea, get 13 elder signs, stop him waking up. So that's an Ancient One card. They're all pretty much the same. What other stuff have we got? Here we've got here's Wilson Richards. We've just got these you'll put these, you know, either on the souvenir shop, and then you'll move it to the adventure card that you're using. So these are just little chits for each individual investigator. Elder signs that we've seen. Again, we need, in that case with Cthulhu there, we would need 13 of these to defeat him. And as mentioned, we need to get onto his card with all our investigators in the way that we're going to play it. We also have monsters. These are the new sort of monster tokens that we have. As I mentioned, these go onto adventure cards, and you need to complete these tasks to get rid of the monster. Now, these aren't in the bag because the mask monsters, so Nyarlathotep only. So keep these separate. When we do the shuffle and pick out who our ancient one is, if it's Nyarlathotep, we shall put these into the monster bag. But there's about 5 or 6 of these mass monsters that currently are not in the bag. With Unseen Forces, one of the ancient ones is Abhoth, and he's got some special monsters as well. These get kept separate, so if we get Abhoth, we'll have to keep these separate somewhere on the playing surface and bring them into play as required. But Abhoth isn't the ancient one, then we don't put them into the monster bag or use them at all. We'll just keep them in the box. Usual stuff with like health and, well, stamina and sanity tokens. There's a 5 for stamina and a 5 for sanity there. So those will get put on our investigators. And the last sort of token or chit that we use are these sort of feet, you know, soles of boot, or whatever they are, footprint things, and these are clue tokens. I think they use this just to, you know, use a bit of shoe leather going round, trying to find clues. That's the idea, and they want to keep it separate, I think, from the investigation symbol that is actually on the dice. So they use these boot sole things. Right, so that's pretty much it. That's the monster bag, so all the monsters are in here. You get quite a few, so that's pretty cool. Is there anything else? Let's just have another quick look at these. Yeah, I'll take you through these properly. Here's Mandy Thompson, so she's got 5 sanity and 5 stamina. Mandy Thompson, the researcher. And just give you an example of a special ability. Once per day, after any player has rolled, Mandy may re-roll 2 dice before determining if the active player was able to complete a task. So every investigator has something that helps out. Get starting items as usual, and then you kick off with the game. A few of these cards, I think a few of the adventure cards, and a few of the other world cards, and a few of these were actually changed from the base game. So if you buy Unseen Forces, you will get replacements. The reason being, some of them were a bit overpowered. So they went through, they had a look at them, and they changed some of them. So if ever you get Unseen Forces, you will get some new cards to replace the old ones out of the base set. I've put all the new ones into here. So what I'll do now is I'll just shuffle everything, and then we'll get around to picking who our ancient one's going to be and picking who our investigators are going to be. So bear with me. Okay, here we are, ready to go. Done all the small cards, shuffled all those up. Slight rearrangement of the entrance. Shuffled the other world cards. We've got the Blessed and Cursed here just above the chapel. And we are ready to go. So first of all, who will we be up against? So let's give these babies a shuffle and see who is going to be our ancient one for today. We have Clarky. Ooh. So if we ever get in a final battle with him, we need to get 2 law and 2 investigation on our roll. We need 12 elder signs. Glarky, Undead Servants. When an investigator is devoured, add 3 doom tokens to the doom track instead of 1. No! So here's his doom track and attack. When Glarky attacks the players as a group, must choose one ally to discard, or one investigator of the player's choice is devoured. So we could do with some allies if we get close. If we get close to the Ancient One waking up, so we might get to the souvenir shop and spend some trophies to get some allies, I think. But we'll see how it goes. We need 12 Elder Signs. So let's put him down here. I think we can still see it there, can't we? Yeah, so Glacky is our Ancient One. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll get rid of that. Don't need the rest of that now. And let's pick our investigators. Let's go with 4, so we get to see a few. Right, let's do a cut as well. Right, let's see who our first investigator is. Our first investigator is Leo Anderson, the expedition leader. 5 sanity, 5 health. Leadership. Leo adds 1 to the trophy value of each adventure trophy that he spends. Cool. So if he has to spend adventure trophies, he will get an extra 1 added to it, and he gets a starting item of a common item and a clue token. So I'll just set him up, won't be a second. Oh, tell you what we'll do. Let's pick his common item while we're here. So he gets the museum map. Before moving, discard to discard 1 adventure card along with all monsters on it, replacing it with a new adventure card. This card cannot affect other world cards. That'll be a good one to keep. If we get an adventure card that ends up with a shed load of monsters on it, then we will play this baby. Or we get an adventure card with a particularly difficult monster on, we can play this card. So that goes on Leo. Let's give him that clue token. Right, I'll just set him up, won't be a second. And there we are, there's Leo all set up. So another quick shuffle, let's find investigator number 2. And our second investigator is Dexter Drake, the magician. Again, 5 and 5. His special ability, magical gift. Whenever Drake gains 1 or more spells after setup, that's after setup, he receives 1 extra spell. Cool. He gets a unique item and 2 spells. So that's pretty good. Right, his unique item is the Lamp of Al-Hazred, which will mean that you can actually add the red die should it be required. So that's pretty cool. And he gets 2 spells. First spell is Lore Monster. Again, this is one where we can sort of stick a dice on here when we are completing tasks. So he's got Lore Monster, and second one is Flesh Ward. Again, be able to put a die on there while we're trying to complete tasks. So pretty cool. Right, I'll just set him up, won't be a second. And there's Dexter. So, third investigator. Carolyn Fern. Right, so she's 6 and 4, psychologist, psychology. Once per day, at the start of any player's turn, Carolyn may cause any one investigator of her choice, including herself, to regain 1 sanity. Coolness. Starting items, she's got a common item and a unique item. Common item is a 38 revolver. She'll be allowed to use the yellow die. And a unique item is Cult the Ghoul, which will allow her to use the red die. Fantastic. Right, I'll just set her up, won't be a second. And there's Carolyn. Just moved everybody up 1. So we've got enough room for our last investigator. Who is it going to be? It's Joe Diamond, the Humphrey Bogart of Arkham Horror. So 6 health, 4 sanity, the private eye. Hunches. After Joe spends a clue token, he may re-roll the die a second time without spending an additional clue token. Coolness. Starting items, 1 common item and 1 clue token. Brilliant. Right, I shall set him up. Won't be a second. Before I set him up, you probably want to know what his, what his common item is. So he gets the axe. So axe wielding private eye will allow him to use the yellow die, so that's pretty good. And clue token. Right, now I'll go and set him up. Okay, so there are all our investigators. They're all set up and ready. So get rid of these. We won't be needing those because we've got permadeath. Right, so we've got Glacky, and last thing, we've got to set up our board, as it were. So give the adventure cards a bit of a shuffle. As mentioned, there are a few missing out of here. Some of the easier ones to make it a bit more difficult to get elder signs and whatnot. So there we go. Have a bit of a cut. There we go. Right. Okay, so what we place now, we place 3 cards above the clock and 3 cards below. So let's start at midnight, why not? And we get, oh, may as well read it. Transported by magic, worth 2 as a trophy. My skin glowed white hot until I had to close my eyes. The floor disappeared under my feet and I seemed to fall forever. Midnight effect. At midnight, add 1 Doom token for each Another World adventure card in play. Now, I do believe that these kick off straight away. Now, fortunately, we haven't got Another World in play, so we don't have to add a Doom token. But it's my understanding that if we did have Another World in play, even though it's the very start of the game, we would have to do that. So we need 6 investigations to complete a task, or 2 law, but we can do those in any order. Penalty is Doom token on the Doom track, and we lose a sanity. If you pass, we get 2 spells, and what's that symbol? I don't know what that symbol is. It is a gate. Oh right, a gate. So obviously that will be an Otherworld card will open, I think. So pretty cool. Right, so that goes at midnight. There we are. Our next card. Stay away from the windows. Worth 2 trophies again. Nice little Stegosaurus there. As much as I fear the dark places amongst the exhibits, I fear the pools of pale moonlight even more. I have learned all too well to stay away from the ornate windows throughout the museum. You betcha, man. I'll see Mr. Magoo me. He's going to have some real fun with this writing. So that'd be 8 investigations and 2 peril for those 2 tasks. Nasty penalty. Lose 2 health, a sanity, and you get a Doom token, but you do get 2 elder signs if you pass that one. I'll go there. Next one. Blood on the floor. What's that supposed to be? A night gaunt or something, probably. Again, 2 trophies. Blood on the floor. The dark pool on the marble tiles chilled me to the bone. Then I heard the scraping noise. Here we are with an adventure card that has to be done in order. So we'd need 2 investigation, 3 investigation, and then we'd need a terror and a peril. Lose a health and a sanity if you fail, but you gain a clue token, a common item, and an elder sign if you pass. Let's put that there. Our next one is Fragments of Knowledge, another 2 trophy. Little by little, the shrouded hints began to coalesce into a clear vision of the nightmare that had taken root in this museum. So nice little artwork they've got on here. What's that? A ring, a magnifying glass, an elder sign. So 6 investigation, any order, a terror, and 2 law. Possibility of losing 2 sanity, but you can gain an elder sign, a spell, and a clue token. So let's put that down there. 6 o'clock. Next one is Unnatural Habitat. You get 1 trophy for this, I cannot abide these stuffed beasts. Stand too close and their claws catch me. Watch them too keenly and their glass eyes follow me. Whoa. This has got a terror effect where you'll lose one stamina. It's also got a monster section, so if we get a monster we can put it on here. 2 peril and 3 investigation. Lose a health if you fail, but you will gain a spell if you pass. So I'll put that up there. Sorry, my OCD's kicking in. Right, don't have it level. And, ooh, 3 trophies. The hidden treasure. Ooh, look at all these cultists. So, the hidden temple, sorry. The wall slid open, revealing a secret room adorned with blasphemous icons and images. Entry. So, as soon as we go onto this card, add 1 doom token to the doom track. Whoa. Got to be done in order. 5 investigation, and then it'll be 3 investigation, a law and a peril. Fail, another doom token goes on. You pass, you'll get 2 gates opening and a spell and a unique item. So let's put that up there. So there we go, the board. The board is set out. We'll put the remaining adventure cards up here. Oh, I tell you what I haven't done. I haven't got the chits out. Won't be a second. Right, there we go. They took a bit of fishing out, but there they all are. Our 4 investigators are there on the souvenir shop, ready to go. Okay, right, just one thing left to do. That's right, let's flip over the Mythos card. Our first Mythos card is The Stars Align. Add a Doom token to the Doom track. Good start. Right, let's dig one of those out. And as you can see, the first Doom token is going on one of those little elder thing symbols, so we get a monster. So not only have we got a Doom token, we've got a monster as well. So good old monster bag. Let's see what to come out with. And we have got a mummy. Theme! A mummy in the museum. The creature's very existence was a curse. It strode toward me, animated by pure hatred. Wah. Right. So here's the mummy. Oh, one thing to point out. See here where the the squares divided into 2. That means either. You don't have to roll both. So either a terror or a peril will fill this up. So you just need 3 terrors or perils in any sort of order, and you will defeat this guy. We did have one, didn't we, with a monster? Yeah, the little unnatural habitat. So for some reason the mummy has got into the natural history exhibit, and he will go there. So where's this? So before the stars align, we've done that. Before reason fails, adventure cards with arrows may have their tasks completed in any order today. Right, so that's the crap part. This is the good part. So this one, we've got 2. We've got Blood on the Floor and we've got the Hidden Temple, which we could complete in any order. So we may look to do that. So this is our... Find somewhere to put it. Put it there. Right. So that is our Mythos card until the clock next chimes midnight. Right. So that's it for introduction and setup. If I've made any mistakes there, or you've noticed any glaring errors, as I say, this is my very first game. This is a complete blind playthrough, man. I've watched some of there's some excellent videos out there actually that I can mention. Tragic the Blathering does one, which is pretty good. Doug Herring, but Doug I think did Gates of Arkham. But you know, as for general gameplay and how the dice work and stuff, you know, that's well worth seeing. And also Black Belt Gaming, I had a look at his Elder Sign playthrough, and that was very helpful as well. So there's 2 or 3 there that you can have a look at, like I did. But I think I've set it up right. If I haven't, please let me know. I'll put those links down to those those house rules where we're making it slightly more difficult. I don't think it makes a great deal of difference. I don't think it's going to make it horrendously difficult, but well, I hope not. But the fact that it's my first play of this and those house rules hopefully might make it a close game. We shall see. Any tips or whatever that you get during the playthrough, as ever, please put them down in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you all. And as always, you know, any mistakes I make, do point them out and I shall try and fix them. But that is it for introduction and setup for Elder Sign Unseen Forces. So I hope you join me next time in the museum at midnight, where we try and defeat Glarky. Until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.